Hey, Mr. Random Pop Culture News for Game Mint, Mr. MannyTendoWolverine. You guys are interested in Charles George's channel? Find my social media links such as Twitter X, Instagram, BShoot Radio. Obviously all the other stuff, Rumble, even Reddit. Anyways, links to short buzz down below, cards on the side as always. Like, share, comments, and hit the bell notification if you like my stuff. Leave a comment, and if you really care about my stuff, my absolute amazing good ass content, if you want to keep watching it, subscribe, my viewers and peoples. Anyways, and watchers. I know my voice sounds a little bit messed up. I swear I'm not getting sick or under the weather, but I was supposed to do this like 2 or 3 hours earlier. Even though granted I'm like way over a week late, like 6-7 days old. And by the time you guys see this is gonna be Friday, maybe Saturday or Sunday. So it's very, very early in the morning. It's like 4:30 or 5 a.m. right now. Like, dude, I'm beat the frick up now. So I'm so glad. It was an early Friday morning or Saturday morning. It's one of those two. So, I know there's a lot of people already did the reaction to this one. Master Cheif, okay, the dude that's from freaking the Halo series. A lot of people that are hardcore Halo fans. He's like the Mario of freaking. He's the Mario and the Sonic and even Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and hell, freaking the TF2 characters and the freaking Portal character for like the Xbox freaking like what Xbox and Microsoft stands for, most of that shit. That, but along with the other old school shit like Gears of War and what else? I guess Counter Strike. I don't know. That started on original Xbox. Could have been on Sony, PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4 too. I don't know. He's like the freaking mascot for the Microsoft Xbox freaking video game consoles. He was about the fans, for the fans, like die-hard Xbox fanboys love the fuck out of that dude, big time. I never really gave a shit too much about it. I said this even even one of my very first original YouTube channels, which you can't find anymore. So I could say the name for it. It was I forget if it was Silver Timber Coyote or Silver Timber Wolves. One of those two names. I know I had the word Silver Timber in it, and it's a stupid ass 17, 18-year-old dumbass teenager who's making YouTube videos way back in the day, and was very unhinged with a lot of shit back then. Certain things I'm so glad in a way, and I only had that video for like video channel for like 4 years. I think it was either 08 or 2009 was when I think it got deleted. And I didn't get deleted, but it ended up getting terminated because I think I remember I was like, I don't know which reality TV shows. I think it was like for one of the VH1 TV shows back in the days, when reality TV shows I decided to like do a lot of recordings on. I guess I recorded the full episodes, and I guess one of the algorithms didn't like it, and poof, whole channel was gone. Within 4 years, I've had that channel. Actually, no, 3.5 years. It was 2006, 07, and 08, and half of 2009. I think it was June or July or May. It ended up being gone forever, which I'm kind of glad it was, because the shit I said from 17 to 21 years old was extremely cringe. Even as a 21-year-old young adult, I said some extremely cringy ass shit. And one or two, I'm not gonna lie, they kind of came off a little bit R-worded too. So I'm kind of glad that a lot of that's gone and people can never find it ever. So I went to other things I remember doing on that channel. I used to do a lot of top 10 videos. Used to do a lot of video responses, because that's when video responses were a real huge thing on YouTube back in the day. Along with favorite collections of things, a whole bunch of like a top 5, top 10, everything, music stuff and anime stuff. It was better times. It really was. Other than that, the only two things, I actually got 3 things. Not 2, but 3 freaking internet website news stories or news articles I'm gonna talk real quick about. I don't know if I might do one of them as a video or not. We'll see. The other two I highly doubt I'm talking about, because it doesn't really catch my interest. One of them catch a huge bit of interest in me. I'll give you a quick hint. It has something to do with the Rockstar game show. Oh man, that's gonna be wild. But then again, I'm not really surprised about it at all. Anyways, I already watched the whole first half of this thing. I already know how it goes. I don't really react to it until they start doing the whole death battle stuff. So, of course, they get the whole mathematics and schematics and the whole background origin story of what these two are, Master Cheif versus the other fool. I think you guys were either PC gamers or even like I don't know if this ever came up for the Sega Genesis or Sega Saturn. Maybe it might have released for like the PlayStation 1. But I think it was mainly more on PC more than anything. So if you guys were PC owners back then, as a 90s teenagers or maybe even early 20s dudes, so probably a couple Gen Xers, you probably remember playing a lot of Doom shit back in those times. Back in the early mid-late 90s when it was really huge. It was like 1992 or 93 when it was released. Because it's funny because Mortal Kombat was the only one that had a lot of blood and gore and a lot of violence in it. It was this one as well, Doom. Fortunately, in 1999, I think it was 98 or 99, might have been 99. I remember after a whole unfortunate thing, a lot of Gen Alpha kids weren't even alive for this, but Gen Zers might have been alive for this, who knows. The youngest ones probably were like 2 or 3 or 4 years old at the time. I remember I was like 10 at that time. That's when that whole thing in Colorado happened. I'm not going to talk about it, but unfortunately is a bit of a, let's just say safety hazard or the unfortunate situation that happens a lot more nowadays in the United States, more than any other country in the world, unfortunately. A lot of people get unalived by these things. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. A lot of people lost their lives. A bunch of these, more than just the ones that poke you to unaliving. More like it's like a smaller version of a cannon. Let's just say that. And I'm just gonna use the word cannon. I think I could use the word cannon, even though that is a weapon, but you don't use that in modern times anymore. But tiny miniature like carry cannons, one you could carry with your hand. Yeah, after that happened in 1999, that's when like Doom really blew up in the mainstream, and a lot of the wrong reasons. Oh, this is the reason why this unfortunate event happened. You know, if you live in the United States, you know what I'm talking about, right? But if you live outside the country, you know, there's a certain weapon out there that takes a lot of people out every year, unfortunately. I know I got some myself, but I'm only gonna use that shit. God forbid if I ever have to use that, unless it was like a freaking home invasion happened. That hasn't happened, thank God. That or some apocalypse. I mean, the world shit were to pop off. That's the only time I'm ever gonna use it. Anyways, which one? Let's go. The Doom guy. I'm hoping it's the Doom guy that wins, aka Doom Slayer, because you know, granted, I never played a lot of Doom shit. I may have played like 2 of the Doom games out of the 12 that are out there, or 13. Halo, I couldn't, bro. I know it was like a real big thing at the time. A lot of people loved Halo. I never got the attraction why so many gamer fan fools love the fuck out of Halo. I mean, I respect them, and I'm glad they like the Halo shit. Just for me, it just never resonated with me that well. I don't know, and because I wasn't big into FPS games yet until like 2009, 2010, way later on. If it would have been like that, maybe as a late 90s, early 2000s could have. But then I would never gotten into Crash or Spyro or Rayman or any of the old school platformer shit or racing simulators or fighting simulators. Like, none of that shit would have appealed to me if I would have gotten into that instead. Or JRPGs or visual novels, you know? So I'm kind of glad I didn't get into that till way later on in life. Alright, so enough yapping and blabbering. 3, 2, 1, let's get it in. I put it at 1.25, so it's a lot more faster, just in case you're wondering. Oh, no, I didn't. I thought I did. Alright, there we go. Oh, yep, let's get it in. Let's hope. Even though I'm not a hardcore Doom fan, I do like it a little bit better compared to, like, Halo. Let's get it. Jump into this bitch. Let's go.
I'm not detecting enemy forces. Perhaps they left?
You tell me.
You sure demand a lot from a girl. Wait, around the corner. Be ready.
Enemy located. Combat will likely be necessary.
Well, isn't he astute?
Alert. Portal detected.
Who brings a chainsaw to a gunfight?
Oh. Oh.
Watch your six!
Oh, shit. Uh-oh. Oh, they're literally fighting on the gates of Thailand.
You are surrounded.
Oh, shit. I gotta leave it all those, man. Yep. No shit.
What the hell just happened?
Literally, hell.
I'll see what I can do about that annoying AI.
Do it. I'll finish this fight. I can no longer detect the enemy. Systems complete.
Uh-oh. Oh. Oh. Okay. I thought I was getting over for Green Guy, man. Uh-oh. Oh, I forgot he was gonna, like, super speed, too. Oh, shit. Damn. Woohoo! No way. Uh-oh. Is that it? And we're gonna blow up the whole freaking thing?
Cheif, still with me?
Uh-oh. I didn't miss it. Uh-oh. Oh, is this it? Huh? Ooh. Oh.
KO! And lo, our avenging angel has triumphed, for he is doomed. Man, there's a lot going on here, so let's break this down. Starting with physical stats. Being a genetically enhanced super soul.
Oh, shit. All right. Okay. I swear to God, I did not watch this before I ended up reacting to this video. And I always watch the first 10-15 minutes of it, but, like, not the whole reaction to the whole death battle thing. That whole thing, when they officially get into the fight, I always wait. Every time. I honestly thought it was going to be the Master Cheif that was going to win it. No. It ended up being the Doomslayer guy. All right. That's my freaking boy there, bro. That's what's up. Even though it wasn't like a hardcore fanboy of the Doom series, I do like it a lot more compared to freaking Halo. I'll admit that. It has a lot more cooler shit in that fucking game. And unfortunately, back then, I'll get to thoughts, views, opinions, speculations. So, second, but if you just want to hear the long story or short, obviously, since I grew up in a very strict Christian religious household, if any of you guys been on my channel for many years, you know this already, but for any newcomers out there, hi, welcome. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to play real bloody, gory, violent, fucked up games, especially depicting purgatory, hell. And, you know, Christians have to be against that stuff, yada, 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 all that shit. It's fucking gobbledygook crap. Like, you know, it was stupid back then, man, because this was in the time in the 90s, early 2000s, when the whole dumb satanic panic shit was still happening, and a lot of, like, Gen Xers and probably boomers who were real nervous, like, our kids are going to go to hell if they play these video games. They're going to do this and that. They're going to commit these actual crimes. Like, and then there was never no fucking psychological proof. A bunch of psychiatrists and therapists did a shitload of studies saying that none of that is the reason why people do IRL crimes in the real world. That's a fucking problem. That's a whole other separate thing. And not once I ever thought about committing any crazy IRL crimes because I played violent video games. It was a stupid ass generation, yeah, bro. And then again, I'm becoming the old man myself, which sucks. It is what it is. Every generation probably goes through with it. Because I thought some Gen Zers were absolute fucking idiots. You know, there's probably a couple of them out there. They gotta have brains or some shit, you know, to have common sense, you know? And not every single one of them can just be on fucking Kick or TikTok or Instagram all day, you know? Anyways, let's just keep hearing this shit. Let's go.
You'd probably expect the Master Cheif to take the edge here. Wrong! Cheif can outrun a cheetah moving 66 miles per hour. The Slayer Slayer can outrun a rocket, zooming almost 8 times faster. Master Chief can flip the 200-ton elephant platform. The Slayer can fling around these massive steel cubes, which each measure to over 400 tons. He can take down titans with his bare hands, so it adds up. If this came down to a fist fight, he'd just punch Chief's head off. Stats may go to the Doom Slayer, but Master Chief has one trick the Slayer can't beat, his AI. Yeah, Vega may be God repackaged as Siri, but Cortana is clearly the more dangerous computer pal. Cortana was designed for combat encounters and battle planning. Vega oversaw a mining facility. Granted, Vega's nothing to laugh at, but Cortana's kind of famous for hacking ancient, all-knowing technology.
This is the thing, since I never played that many, like, Doom games, I didn't even know, like, the Doom Slayer dude had a freaking AI, too. Vega. I don't remember that, because I haven't played any Doom games since, like, 2001 or 03, I think. One around those, the only way I was ever play that type of games, like I said before, say it again, I had to play them either at one of my cousin's house, or that's it, because I didn't have any IRL friends outside of my cousins, which sucked because that was annoying as fuck. Hey, I can't even goddamn tell you how annoying as shit was not having IRL friends like outside of my cousins' groups. And I'm saying I hated them too. I still have mad respect for them as well, but I don't know. Just because my grandparents came from like that Italian way of like seeing if you could only have your friends if they're cousins, or if they're like somebody outside of that. Oh, they're automatically a snake or a demon, or they're part of like some evil people that are gonna fucking stab you in a match. I never understood that fucking way of thinking. I think it's one of the most stupidest fucking goddamn idiotic ways of thinking in my life, in my personal opinion. I don't know, maybe because they came from different generations, they have different ways of doing things, or had different ways of doing things. There's a lot of old boomer fools that were still around back then in the 80s, and then again in the 90s, 2000s. A lot of them probably passed away by now. And good riddance, too. I don't fucking miss any of them. Honestly. That shit, my grandparents had my old man's family. Oh, dude. Yeah. And I'm not going to get too deep into it because it's a lot of private personal things that kind of go along with that. And not saying I don't trust you guys with that. I'm just saying. It's a lot of gripes I have. Like, 99% of the lifestyle I disagree with. Only one, maybe 2% I might agree with. And that's I don't know. I just saw it as really fucking idiotic. Very, very malicious and extremely fucking really ignorant, in my opinion. It is what it is. They're mostly dead anyway, so it doesn't matter. Even if they were alive, I'd be saying the same thing about them anyways. I do not care. I know it sounds a little cold-blooded for some people thinking, oh, like, you need to respect your elders and great-elders. I think that's probably the reason why a lot of those countries, I know I could be getting sidetracked, I'm still going to get to this, trust me, I will. A lot of those, especially with a lot of the Asian countries, I think that's a reason why some of the Koreans that are way, way younger generations, that were the millennial ones, now they're a lot older, especially the ones that are Gen Zers and all that now, like, they don't want to keep following the same footsteps their elders and their great and the elders want to keep going. You know, like, as times and all that shit change, man. Everything in this earth, it doesn't stay the same way forever. A lot of the stuff, whether it goes, because even though it's not a fucking person that's a fucking economist or a journalist or a fucking 8-12-year master's degree PhD person who has a super high IQ of $1 billion or $1 trillion. I don't like work for no stock, NY Stock Exchange or Wall Street or any of that stuff. I'm just an average, ordinary ass fucking lame person. That's all I am. But I'm very wide awake in conspiracy theory shit, that's for sure. I don't know. And a lot of stuff that goes like all the crisis stuff of this, crisis stuff of that, like, oh, another recession, another economic downturn. Like, you think not that many people are having freaking families anymore, because not because everything's expensive, but it's almost damn near unaffordable to even get like certain modernized things nowadays. And I know I could keep going on and on and on with that, and that's a whole different type of video that I'm probably never gonna make unless I have another backup channel and I ever talk about that stuff. But there's a lot of boomerism shit that's probably in there that a lot of Gen Z, Gen Alpha aren't gonna give a fuck about. So let's just stick to the fun shit. Let's keep going.
Multiple occasions. And even if you want to argue Cheif should have the weapon instead, she's still a copy of Cortana. And when it comes to experience, Cheif likely has more consistent training. Becoming a super soldier and one-man army is basically all he did since he was a child. The Slayer may seem like a rampaging bull consumed by rage, and he is, but he was also a Marine and trained with the Night Sentinels. And since time in hell gets wacky, he fought demons non-stop for thousands of years. Given the sheer variety of enemies, battles, and wars Master Cheif has experienced, it's a tough call, but we think fighting demons for so long tips the scale to the Slayer. Not that it matters much, because we're on to the last and best category, arsenals. From weapons to power-ups, both Cheif and the Slayer had a ton of stuff they could bring into the battle. Both had means to turn invisible or shield themselves from damage. Both had suits that could withstand extreme heat and intense hits. And both had so many weapons. Technically, Master Cheif had a greater variety of weaponry, but when it comes to sheer destructive power, the Slayer had him beat. The Unmaker can match the Spartan laser's light speed without having to worry about charging up, and nothing on Cheif's belt can match the raw power of the BFG. Still, Master Cheif did use a hard light shield to survive a point-blank 30-megaton bomb. However,
I forgot about that, because any of you guys ever saw that one really bad, shitty freaking... This is when in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, when I was around in the 80s, so 89, but I didn't remember shit. I don't know if in the 70s, because late 70s, that's where all the video game shits you can get in 1977 or 78. The original Atari shit in Commodore 64, I guess. All the way up till when the 80s came around, it was all about the arcades and pinballs and all that. And what else? It's the air hockey stuff and all that other things. And like a lot of old ancient PC stuff back then to like the early 90s. Once the mid-late 90s came around, it was all about the Polygon 3D era with the PS1 and again with the PS2 and the 2000s after that. Same with the Xbox and Dreamcast and all that stuff, and then 64 to GameCube. Like, it's crazy, man. Like, I remember at the time when, like, this is when a lot of, like, video game movies were really super shitty, and they sucked ass. They were atrocious. They were absolute diarrhea shitfest in a bad way. They were one of the worst garbage, disgusting, trashiest, nastiest, and, like, worst pathetic pieces of garbage on the planet you could ever witness and watch. Like with the old Super Mario Bros. Movie, that was not that good. I guess RoboCop to a certain extent, maybe, I don't know. And then the old school stuff, that was more of a board game with the Jumanji thing, wasn't really a video game. And then they kind of made it from like an old, like then they did the remakes for Masters for Jumanji. Had like Kevin Hart and Dwayne The Rock Johnson, which I'm going to get to in a second, but they ended up screwing up so bad. In my opinion, they were just trash to the max. Not worth playing at all. This is when a lot of video game movies were really bad. Extreme out there, the Mario Bros. Movie after that, and a couple other movies, I guess. I don't know. And then Doom was one of those two. Had Dwayne The Rock Johnson at the time. It was like, I think his third or his fifth movie he did after he was done not doing, like, I guess wrestling for WWE, WWF at that time. Then it became the WWE later on. I don't know. But that movie, oh my god. The only thing that was the same exact thing at that movie that they had was like, I think the last 2 or 5 minutes of the movie where he was like, he's blasting up and shooting all these evil alien demons coming through a different portal dimension and all that. Which, looking back on it now, it's like, now I see the why Dwayne The Rock Johnson, he really is how he is. My personal opinion, I do sold his soul off to the devil really quick. Straight up, man. And you could say, oh, you could chalk it as, oh, but he worked his ass off to be like the biggest person in the WWE WrestleMania shit. Or you could say, oh, like, he had to fight blood, sweat, and tears to get to where he's out. In my opinion, yeah. I guess physically he had to do that. But, like, cash-wise, if he did sell out, like, he's probably got so much more wealth and materialism more than any person on this earth. Probably not as much as Elon Musk do, but you get it. But I don't know, man. I just never really liked, like, after he started doing the movies in the early 2010s. I was like, in 2000s he was cool in the movies, huh? But in the 2010s, I don't know. I just feel like he had a lot more. I don't know if it's because, like, the WrestleMania industry kind of made him like this, or he just, like, God forbid, because there's no way in hell I'd ever say this. He'd probably break my neck and unalive me within a second, obviously. Like, in the most respectful way. I think the nicest way I could say it, he's kind of a little bit of a, I don't want to say pushover, but Don't worry, the Wayne The Rock Johnson fans been saying, like, I was one too, but I wasn't like a die-hard fan of the dude. But, dude, that dude's way too full of himself, man. Like, you want to see narcissism, nihilism? That's like, the dude is the definition of that. Oh my god. But, yeah, you know, the Doom movie, like, it did really bad, bro. It had nothing to even do with freaking the game at all, except for the last 2 or 5 minutes where he starts blasting everything with the BFC. I think it was called Big Freaking Gun or Big Fucking Gun. Or Big Fucking Gunpowder or something, I don't know. And let's keep on.
Cortana was siphoning power from the Forerunner ship they were on to make that shield, so it was a very specific circumstance not easily replicated. And it's clear that without the shield, he would have been obliterated. Even if he could replicate it, Doomguy had the weaponry to break through. Take the Crucible. Remember, the Crucible holds power equivalent to 157 trillion kilowatt hours, which directly converts to 90 gigatons of TNT. Even if you divided that power between the Crucible's 3 charges, a single swing from that sword is, at minimum, 1,000 times more powerful than that nuke. The Slayer gets the final nail in arsenal, as he just had the better odds of actually taking the Chief down. As much as Chief tried to master the situation, he was doomed. Slay, King! The winner is the Doom Slayer. Amen. Next time on Death Battle.
Oh, let's see what the next one is. I get to thoughts, use, and opinions in a second. Hope it's in the
Subscribe and join as a member to see more Death Battle. Thanks for watching. Check this out. Get my YouTubes while you still can, and you might score a rare gold variant. It's only available for 2 weeks, so act now.
What are the plans for tonight?
I don't even know what that shit is.
My master is not at home tonight.
Okay. Hope YouTube doesn't think that's like some furry Anthro R34 crap, because that's not what it is, YouTube. I'm just putting it up, yeah. Oh god, it's almost 6 a.m., Jesus. It's like the latest I've ever done a video. I'm seeing the crack of, like, dawn right now, too. Yeah, thoughts, views, opinions, speculations, all that good shit. Dude, I don't know, man. I swear that was just an advertisement. I don't really know what it is. Actually, you know what? I'll see you guys in a second. I'm just gonna, like, real quick refresh the video. Yeah, so thoughts, views, opinions, speculations. Like I said before, I'll say it again. Like, yeah, it's just kind of weird, man. Like, oh, man. Like, am I super happy about it? That's great. That freaking Doom Slayer guy won. That's great. That's badass. Had fingers crossed it was going to happen. It happened. I'm glad. And the other one, I don't know. That other one that they're going to show, I'm probably going to watch that one on my own, because I didn't even know there was a such thing as the White Lantern. I know they had like 7 or 8 different. I'm trying to talk about the whole LGBTQ plus community, any of those fools or any of that shit, but the freaking 7 colors or 9 colors of the rainbow shit, like of the Green Lantern. But I didn't know white was a part of that though. And I never actually. I know I have always heard about that anime manga series. I don't know, it's from the late 2000s or early mid 2010s. Gurren Lagann. I remember hearing about it a bunch of times. I never watched it myself personally, so unfortunately, I'm not going to say I'm going to skip that one. I'll watch it myself. I'm just not going to react to it. So that one, you're never going to see a reaction for that one, unfortunately. But anyways, into this though. It was great. You know, it was awesome to look at. I had a lot of good ass ideas that they were cooking for this episode. Whoever the voice actors and voice actresses was, I got to give a quick golf clap to all of them. They did an amazing ass job. You know, it's funny. I don't think Doom Guy ever did talk either. He's always stood quiet or as a mute every time. So I'm not surprised that he was always a quiet protagonist, a silent protagonist. 'Cause he did come from the time in the late 80s and early mid 90s when a lot of video games didn't have like a lot of like NPC characters or just the main characters, like the main protagonists, the heroes or the villains. They never really like talked at all. They just stood quiet the whole time. I remember there was a time, especially if you guys are Gen Z or Gen Alphas. Gen Alphas, I don't even know what you're doing here, because way too young to watch my fucking videos. I'd be cussing the storm. So if your parents get pissed off for watching somebody like me and use a lot of profanity, that's on them, not me. But anyways, yeah, you know, it's kind of weird, man. yeah, there was a time, and like I was saying, yeah, there was an actual original time where video game characters didn't talk at all. Everything was just quiet and silence. There was a little bit of music in the background here and there. You had stages and all that stuff. You get from point A to point B, and then we're done with the game. I think it was until either 1997 or 98. It was like when they had one of the first like I don't even know who the first freaking video game character was that did end up talking in long sentences. I really don't know. I think the first one I saw was either 1996 or maybe 99. One of those 2 years, either from the Gex and Gecko dude from the PS1 era, or maybe Spyro the Dragon. I don't know. Or if you count 1998's version of the PS1 thing, Rayman, the one I grew up with, obviously. I swear I try not to kiss his ass too much, but this is when Ubisoft and like shit like EA and all that was actual good companies. And stuff like Blizzard and Activision, that's at the time they actually made games with a compassion, with a love, with the actual sincerity, where they actually gave a shit. But a lot of gamer fools out there. It wasn't just about making the money, making a budget, and just doing all these microtransaction shit. Like a lot of games nowadays is either a gacha game or another bullshit microtransaction thing or another fucking goddamn Fortnite clone or whatever, and then that's it. That's all these Gen Alpha kids in Gen's ear because they're gonna fucking know. And I know I sound like an old ass boomer millennial, like especially if I'm Gen Alpha, say, shut up, man. You know what the hell you're talking about. Like, I get it. And I was in that same thing, like hating the movies and stuff. Movies and anime. Like I know a lot of old people that were Gen Xers, they probably didn't understand like what was the appeal to this. Like they're just Japanese cartoon characters that talk when they're talking lips don't sync well with their freaking mouths. Like I guess there's probably a bunch of Gen Xer parents out there that were like once like my mom was and my old pops was like I think he was more boomer than Gen Xer, but and it was hard for them to understand like why are you so weirdly into this stuff. And it took him a long time to accept, yeah, your son is a geek and a nerd. He loves this shit stuff. And then there was other stuff I never told him about as well. And I'm never telling him about because obviously that will piss them the fuck off if I did. But you know, it is what it is, you know. You live and you learn. There's certain things that are just meant to keep secret to the day you hit the grave. I'm going to say that. Only life lesson, if there are, God forbid, I hope there's no Gen Alpha kids watching this show. So one of my nephews out there is a Gen Alpha. I pray to God one day he never, ever sees this video. But because right now he's actually very hooked on shit like with Roblox and Minecraft and freaking that other one that was real big at the time, like 3 or 4 years ago, like Fall Guys and a lot of brain rotting stuff. Like, and he's reading all this and the whole skibbity toilet crap. Oh my God. Whenever I have to watch him on the weekends once in a while, I feel so fucking bad for him, I really do. He's gonna live in a world where, like, he'll never know the joys of, like, playing a physical controller or anything physical, like tangibility. That's gonna be all gone by the time, I'd probably say 20, 30, or 35. It's like, well, that shit's not gonna be around no more. And then by the time 20, 35, or 40 come, like, you see it now. I'm not gonna get too much into the whole boomer type of talk, because I hear of real life news out there, but the world in real life is extremely shitty, sad place, bro. It really is. By the time 20, 35, 40 come around, like I'm not gonna get into politics about the tariffs and how a lot of that shit's really destroying, affecting, and almost literally, like, it's knocking out a lot of freaking, like, mom and pop businesses that were around for whether it was 5, 10 years or 50 or 100 years. A lot of them are just dropping like flies, man. It's kind of sad. Somebody that grew up as a 90s kid, like, I used to go to these places, and when I was living upstate New York, like, I used to go to these places like Hills or Ames, or I just heard, like, this was from, I think, November, December last year, like, this other spot. They don't have it here in Vegas. I wish they did, but, and they still got the frozen food for it, but it's not the same, man. It was a place called, like, Golden Corral Boston Market, and, like, those places, like, just like what almost happened last year to Red Lobster, that shit, poof, it, like, died almost. But now there's only like 12 locations left. I was like, wow. I didn't even learn that till like last week. And I was like, one of the best childhood places I used to go to every weekend. My parents used to take me sometimes. Because my old man, he loved eating. Like, what a passion, bro. Same with my uncles too. My pops, like, I used to go to these other spots like Teddy's Dogs, aka it's a real good ass hot dog grill place. That was a real cool place. Patrick's Pizzeria Lounge, that one was fun. Paulina's Donuts, that one was good. And another spot too. Even they had, like, when I was still in upstate New York, after I moved from Harlem, New York City to like upstate New York, I'm not gonna say what state it was or city that was, but it was a spot like it's very, very well known in Canada, but since Toronto, Ontario, and Montreal wasn't that far away from it, or Tonawanda, I wasn't around that far away from that spot. It was like the American version of Krispy Kremes and Dunkin' Donuts. It was Tim Hortons. Like, that shit was crazy freaking nice. So smooth. I never got to have the freaking like donuts for it, but I did get to drink the coffee. And oh man, that coffee shit. Compared to Dunkin' Donuts coffee, I'm not even a coffee person. I'm more of like an orange juice and energy drink person more than a coffee person. I don't know, it doesn't do it for me. It doesn't. Because I don't like having those nasty fucking jitters. I don't know how some people put up with coffee now. It's a fucking crazy ass world we're living with that. A lot of that shit's dying out. I think it's either going to be Walmart, Target, Amazon ends up being a thing that exists, or it's just going to be Amazon's the only thing that's going to be the freaking last store left in the whole world, and everything else is just going to be fucking gone. I know it sounds depressing as fuck, but they're the ones with the most money and power. They have like freaking Twitch in their freaking. They bought Twitch a couple years back, and they bought a whole bunch of other things which I don't really know. And they try to make their own studio, like the Amazon Luna game console. But I think that ended up failing really bad. So I guess they just threw that in the trash. And then like people are so freaking obsessed with Amazon, like Prime Day, Amazon us, Amazon that. They have their own studio, movie studio thing, and TV studio, their own music shit. Like, they have almost everything. It's crazy, man. And if it's not, in my perspective, I'm not trying to get into Armageddon, fear, doom, and gloom. So you two don't count us as fearmonger. I'm just saying, this may end up happening one day. There's an 80-90% chance, in my opinion, it probably will happen. Especially if a lot of these mom and pop places are just all shut down, and it's just all these big corporations, what's Microsoft or Apple and Samsung that just rule everything with an iron fist, and no other place in the world ever has a chance to make their own thing again. It's just unfortunate, depressing ass future. That's just what's gonna come down to. I'd be surprised if Walmart and Target are still around by that point, but if they're not, I'm not surprised. Oh, and then the last thing I'll say about one small little thing going back to this, the Master Cheif versus Halo guy versus Doomslayer, man. All the weapons that they use was freaking crazy. I remember a couple of those for the Doom guy used. Since I never really played Halo that much at all, I didn't know what the hell it was. The only thing I was even familiar with Halo was the freaking the Spartan blade, not to, and I guess one of those little Hummer things. That's all I was familiar with about that. And I guess Cortana trick too, because I did look at a lot of NSFW, like Sentai, Prawn, Corn versions of Cortana, and it looked good. It looked really nice. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I'm not sure if like the same dude like Steve Blum or I think his name's Stephen Blum. I don't know if the same dude that did like the original English dub version for Spike from Cowboy Bebop. I don't know if he was the same guy that was the voice actor for Master Cheif, because he sounds exactly like the dude. It might be him. I wouldn't be surprised. Anyways, let's get into internet news. And like I did say, people, like, I remember saying this almost 2 years ago, a year and a half or 2 years back, that I don't want that shit there. It's always these stupid fucking pop-up blocks. Because as I was saying, a year and a half, 2 years ago, I said, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to be 2026 or 2027 and GTA 6 Grand Theft Auto ends up being delayed. I said it before, I'll say it again. I was fucking right. I knew they were gonna freaking do this thing. They were gonna freaking delay it and then put it to another year or 2 or 3 more years. It might be all the way to 2028 when it comes out now. I'm not surprised, I guess, because like a lot of people were really angry and really pissed the hell off about a lot of old school gamers, maybe younger gamers, who knows. They were upset about how much more expensive the Nintendo Switch 2's accessories was going to become, and how their internet thing was going to be more expensive, and how the Joy-Con switches are still going to be, even though they have a different design, they're still going to have that 50 or 70% chance of getting Joy-Con drift because they didn't fix the freaking buttons or change the button design, which sucks. They should have did that. Because from what I heard, Steam Deck, that thing never gets a freaking Joy-Con drift at all. But Nintendo Switch still does. Even the Part 2 is getting Switch. Nintendo Switch 2 that's probably going to end up getting a lot of Joy-Con drifts like what happened in 2017. And then the same thing with Microsoft Xbox. And they just made their shit way more extra expensive like 2 days ago. They say they're going to make the Xbox Series X and S from $200 or $250 to like $450 or $500. Insane. So this one's from G-Infinity? Yeah, G-Infinity or G-Infinity. I think it's G-Infinity Sports. GTA 6 has been delayed due to May 2020 to 2026. Okay, after initial 2025 release, Windows comes from there's another year, another delay for major Rockstar Games projects. Like I said before, it had something to do with Rockstar. Or Nico Parago. I gotta give credit to Nico Parago or Parago. Gotta credit to him real quick. So let's go on real fast. After initially being announced for a 2025 release window, GTA 6, aka Grand Theft Auto 6, has been officially delayed. The game will now be coming out in mid-2026, so fans are in for another long wait. Some fans saw this coming, like me. I knew that shit was gonna come. I freaking knew it. But I'm not even pissed off about it either. Sony does that shit all the time, I'm not surprised. But it's still disappointing to have the delay confirmed. aka X, aka Twitter. On the next post, Rockstar Games confirmed that the GTA 6 will be delayed to May 26 in 2026, aka 2026 next year. Company apologized for fans that for this date for being later than expected, especially since it was announced with a 2025 release window. Rockstar is working on a new project, new entry. Has been a humbling experience thus far as they are trying to outdo their previous games. Is there any more to that? Okay, there's more, but I'm just going to read that one little last part and I'm done. You guys can read the rest in a row. Of course, this isn't the first time that Rockstar has announced a major delay for their anticipated games. Red Dead Redemption 2 was delayed numerous times before it was eventually came out on console PC. Even now, the game doesn't have a 60 FPS patch for current system. Oh, they better get on top of that real bad. They get a 4K, 8K, 12K Ultra for that. So move on. But most fans will agree that waiting for this open world title event was worth it. And of course, I got their Twitter X post there for their apology. So many apologies around the first 3 days of May. There's that. And a little bit of celebrity news. I think it's been like half a month or almost 2 months, like March or April last time I even talked about this this creepy old lady witch. She looks like a witch, man. I'm sorry. Don't be surprised IRL. I know the lady probably went through a whole bunch, but she always had those really crazy, creepy. I'm not trying to be an asshole motherfucker to just judge people at the look how they look on the outside, but some of those people, man, especially when I was like, I don't know if I was in kindergarten or first grade when this happened, but I remember when I was I don't even remember what it was about. This is like way back. I think it was in 1993 or the year after, 94. Like, I don't know if I was leaving home to like going on the preschool bus and all that shit. And I don't know who it was. It was like one of the secretary ladies. I'm not sure who it was. You're a secretary lady? Or it was like the principal's assistant or some sort of teacher bitch that worked there. She gave me the same. If any of you guys remember when, of course I'm talking about this bitch right here, Wendy Williams. If you guys remember 2016 or 17, I don't remember which one of years. It could have been between 2015 and 17, one of those years. When Wendy Williams, when she fainted, everyone said she had those big ass bulging eyes. Like, this really, really wide. You can't see it here because I'm wearing my shades. But you can imagine they're like sticking the fuck out that bad. Or shout out to my boy. I'm not trying to bust his balls or anything, but the guy, the myth, the OG legend, the one that has almost 4 million subs, man. Mudahar, aka Some Ordinary Gamers. You can tell when he gets pissed off real quick. He has that big giant eyeball bulging thing, like when somebody's pissed the frick off more than anything. They're angry with every fiber of their being. They're frustrated as hell. It's like you can tell it looks like their eyes are gonna pop out of their head. That's what this one lady did to me. Anytime they give me a big ass freaking eye stare like that shit makes me scared as freaking hell. I was like, what the fuck are these assholes looking at, bro? Like, I didn't think I did nothing wrong. I was just walking by. I said, bye, lady. And then she just gave me this weird. If any of you guys seen the old school 80s, early 90s movie, 5 Goes West, you remember that part where the dog was trying to make that other dude? I forget his name because he's done so many voice acting things. I think it was Joe DiMaggio or some other dude. Or I think the one that played Cat from Cat Dog. I forgot what the voice actor was, but he was telling this dude, the big old stinky eye, stank eye. And that shit, when people's eyeballs balls, that shit, ugh. It's one of the very few things in life that make me fear things, but it is ugly, man. That's like the same way that Wendy Williams did that giant ugly stare, but instead of doing like this with the creepy smile, she did like this. Oh, like that. So, I don't know. It's freaky shit. So that's for Newsweek. Wendy Williams claims $60,000, aka $60K, was paid without her approval to a doctor, declared her incapacitated. Now she wants answers. Former talk show host Miss Wendy Williams is allegedly financially improperly and propriety, I don't know, in connection with her ongoing conservatorship battles. Oh, this was in June last year. Oh no, a while ago, 2019. 6 years ago. Wendy Williams is outside the court in New York City. Shown on June 23rd. Damn, that's a while back. Yeah, whatever that lady's going through, she's crazy, man. I don't know, it's to some people, no offense to black people, African Americans, I know they'll probably got her back 110%. I'm gonna be surprised, because I don't know. I guess there's some people that liked Wendy Williams more than the other chick, Oprah, and the other African American lady, Gayle King, and all that. Like, I never really gave a fuck about daytime talk shows. It just made me bored as hell. Plus, most of that time I was in elementary, and of course, junior high and middle school, high school. Like, I wasn't even there to see it because I was busy doing my homework or doing schoolwork and shit like that, so it didn't really matter what they said. I think it was a lot of more for, like, not even suburban moms either. Probably a lot of mothers in the ghettos and the projects that would probably watch them a bunch too. It never really caught anything appealing to me. I never did, and it never will. I just thought it was really stupid. Like, of course, this was a time before, and then of course years later, after YouTube and social media became a thing. The second social media and all that shit came around the corner, started in way mainstream once I was like, I think my junior or senior year, either not high school, maybe college a little bit after that. That's when that shit got really, really overpopular, and fortunately got really oversaturated too. And now it's like, eventually it's probably going to be AR and VR that everyone's going to be jumping on, which not everyone's on there yet, but there's probably going to be a day and age where everyone's just going to think, oh, AR, VR's, everyone's going to be on it, and everyone's going to have their TV and their social medias and everything on there. And I'm going to be way off the grid by that point. I pray that I am, because I can already see some scary, fucked up, insane, Wall-E sort of dystopian happening. If that ever happens. Yeah. That lady's gotta, like, freaking... If I was her and I had those millions and millions of dollars on Wells Fargo and the other shit, wasn't taking all that money away from me, allegedly, I probably would have went to some other country, like, probably Japan, more than likely. Or maybe even Australia, I don't know. So, the last one here. This one was pretty cool, because, granted I didn't really grow up with it, but I did remember seeing it a couple times. I used to, like, Little places like KB Toy Store back in the day, if any of you guys remember that. Any fools are born and raised, especially in the East Coast, KB Toys was really big over there at the time. This is a Chrono Trigger remake by something. I can't even read that one. That's weird. Firm by Yuji Hori. I'm not sure it's the one that wrote this one. I give credit is due real quick. If I can give credit is due. And my voice is going. You can tell I'm very, very tired. Alright, on to the... Did it even say who the person that wrote this? It didn't say it. It just says Insider Gaming. Oh, well. Oh, no, wait. Mike Straw. Gotta credit to Mike Straw. Update: after reviewing the footage, the translator has confirmed that Hori never said anything about Chrono Trigger remake. It was just a slip up by the interpreter. Oh, that sucks. Because during an interview on Friday, Chrono Trigger writer Yuji Hori appeared to confirm the existence of a remake for the 1995 RPG. According to Reddit user Dr. DF Tarakos, who was in attendance during the event outside environment. Hori said, quote, "Let this information slip during the interview afterwards. The host appeared to whisper something. Hori has covered his mouth. After another user who was in attendance, Hori said something along the lines of what you said, and the interviewer said, wait, if that's true, this is very big." Translator asked for when the confirmation of Hori was presumably understood that he shouldn't have said that, and that the translator commented, "You have heard nothing." Oh my god. Oh no. If it's true, if it's coming out, cool, but if not, it is what it is. I actually heard this from another old school like Nintendo. I don't know if it was, no, not RGT85 or another fool like that. Spawn Man. No, it was Player Essence, I think I heard that from. Oh man, if that's true, I hope that's a thing, but if not, that sucks. I thought it was 1991, 92 when it came out. The only thing I know that Chrono Trigger was really cool is that it had the same old school art style that the late, rest in peace, the absolute baddest ass MFer in the world that ever lived, that made most of my childhood badass as hell. Akira Toriyama, Kiriya-san, or Toriyama-san. Akira Toriyama, like, they made the whole Dragon Ball series and Dragon Ball Z and all that. I think he had his, like, all of his artwork made into that too. It's beautiful, really, really awesome. That sucks if it's not real, but if it is real, that would be amazing. And that's it. That's all I say for now. I'm out here. I'm out today. Peace out. Talk to you guys soon. Take it easy. See you in the next feature content video. Goodbye. Have a good one. I'm out. See you in the next one. Take it easy. Later.